This is a pro Taylor Swift show. I want to be very clear about that. We love T Swift. But you not?
You can speak for the table. That's fine. Yeah. No, I'm not anti-Taylor Swift. I'm not anti. I'm not as pro as you, seemingly.
I'm
Team Beyonce over Team Swift.
Stop it.
I love how I asked expectations for KC passing game with Minshew starting, and here's where we've landed.
Now taking shots at Beyonce.
Taylor Swift versus Beyonce. We should do. We're going to do a special episode of the podcast where it's literally going to be just that. Beyonce, look at that.
Oh, the Queen.
I'm actually shocked.
Queen Bee.
That,
It's a great triumph.
But it's close. That's what we expected.
America spoke.
Shout out to Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
This is the definitive ruling.
Yeah, of course.
Beyonce v. Taylor Swift.
Fantasy Football Pregame with Matthew Berry.
You heard it here first. Beyonce over T Swift a week ago. Welcome into Week 17. Matthew Berry, George Savaricas, Jay Croucher, Lawrence Jackson, and for a very select few, it is Championship Sunday. A lot of championships on the line in the world of fantasy football. So for those playing for a championship, kudos on you. Watch these next 2 hours. We're going to have all the start-sit questions, players who are treading that line. Maybe they're active, inactive, tracking those injury updates. Yeah. And, of course, we're going to run it around the horn with our toast. Let's start with Lawrence. What's your toast to kick off Week 17?
I'm going to start off toasting to Trevor Lawrence here. The past month, he's been the best quarterback in football. 12 touchdowns, no picks, 120 passer rating. Too bad you can't get the MVP for a month because he'd get it. Guy's name Lawrence, just do it better.
Well said, Lawrence. Gentlemen, you've heard of a koi pond. Have you heard of a koi bowl? Because that's what's going on in NBC Peacock tonight at 8:20. A Coach of the Year bowl between Kyle Shanahan and Ben Johnson. I think the winner of that game will go on to win Coach of the Year.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that.
Mike Vrabel might, want to be part of this.
You're
as
a
well.
Bears fan.
I am. I think
Liam Cohen.
I think those two and Mike Vrabel and Liam Cohen. You got 4 good names there, but I could buy that. For me,
Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen.
Through November 1st, maybe?
Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn for managed to get 4 wins out of that team.
Dayball. Dayball had a good run.
What about Raheem Morris?
Raheem the Dream?
If Pete Carroll successfully loses today, you have to think about what he's done for the Raiders franchise.
Sure.
I think
that great win over the Patriots Week 1.
I'm just saying, if the Raiders successfully tank today, Pete Carroll. All right, fair enough.
For me, the King. Long live the King. Derrick Henry, 36, 216, 4 touchdowns. If you're rostering Derrick Henry and waiting for him to deliver, he's exploded. The last 11 weeks, averaging over 105 yards a game. He's had 12 touchdowns his last 11 games. And a certain person on this desk said he was washed Week 4.
Want to keep Mitchell over him.
Who did?
Keaton Mitchell looked good yesterday.
He's looking washed.
I thought they should.
216. He's third in the NFL in rushing.
Yeah, I thought they should have given Keaton Mitchell the ball more last night. He looked good. Looked speedy on the outside.
And I took that Derrick Henry to Connor Rogers in our 7th place game.
You gave it to him.
You took his whooping.
You showed him.
I did.
All right, Matthew. I know you got something special for us.
I do. Come with me. Jib camera, come with me.
Oh, story time with
I would
Matty.
like to just take one moment here.
You're going to take it to the locker room.
Yeah.
I'm going to the locker room here real quickly.
Yeah.
And I'd like to officially start off by apologizing to Al Pacino, Oliver Stone, and everyone associated with the movie Any Given Sunday. But I'm just going to sit here and say, I don't know what to say, really. 2 hours. 2 hours into the biggest battle of our fake football lives, and it all comes down to today. Either we heal as a collection of statistics, or we are going to crumble. Inch by inch, decimal point by decimal point, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, we can stay here, get the crap kicked out of us, whine about having to play against Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs doing nothing, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I'm behind a computer screen. I look around, I see avatars and team names, and I think, man, I think, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. That's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out the game is a life. Life is just a game of inches, and so is fantasy football. Because in either game, life or fantasy football, the margin for error is small. I mean, one half step too late to the waiver wire, 1 week too early to drop someone, you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow or too fast, you don't quite get it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone around us for pieces, for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the freaking difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it is the man or woman who is willing to die that is going to win that inch. The one who checks their phone at dinner, who wakes up at 4 a.m. to make a free agent claim so they don't lose waiver priority, who works the trade talks until the wee hours, not caring about their mobile messaging limits, who puts their fantasy app on their list of dependents. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it is because I am still willing to fight for that inch. I'm still willing to live and die for that inch because that is what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face, the screen that is omnipresent in your life. Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guys on your team. I think you're going to see guys who will go that inch with you. Look in the mirror. You're going to see someone who will sacrifice themselves for this team because they know when it comes to it, there's no other choice. What are we going to do? Play fantasy hockey? Stop it. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team or we die as individuals. It's fantasy football. 2 hours till game time. What are you going to do? Let's go.
There we go, Matthew. We got the chat saying Matthew Berry's getting that Emmy before Connor Rogers with that speech right there.
I channeled my inner Todd Zeal.
The lecturer.
Yes, that's pretty good. The lecturer.
Well, the top fantasy performances. Matthew Berry should be #1 above King Henry.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that's at least worth 45 points right there.
Derrick Henry went nuclear, 45.6 fantasy points. Malik Willis also playing well. How about Bill? JCM, limited carries, but ripped off those long touchdown runs. Now the big duds, the other side of the coin.
Oh, my God. Goff and Jacobs, just brutal. CeeDee Lamb, not his fault. That was all Dak Prescott, who could not get him. Yeah, of course, the Texans have a bunch of long touchdowns. None of them go to Nico Collins. Travis Kelce, that's a tough way to go out for a Hall of Fame career. Justin Jefferson, it's just been a bad half season for him. The most disappointing to me, Lawrence Jahmyr Gibbs.
Definitely.
Especially
after last week.
Yes.
You would think he can't do much worse. But the thing about the week before is he got all the cheap PPR points versus Steelers versus the
Vikings.
This last game, none of that. So real tough. And just imagine there was people who had multiple players from that list on their roster. So they down and out right now.
Yeah, shout out Jared Goff as well. Good game from him. 2.1 points is absolutely horrific.
But depending on your league set, like in one of the league that I started him in, that deep dynasty league where I'm playing for third, I have negative points for him because of the way our scoring is. Like I'd been better off starting Lawrence at quarterback.
Barry ran more with that speech than Josh Jacobs ran with the football.
That's fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
I chewed some scenery there. Yeah. I really did. It's the Any Given Sunday speech, and I tried to cut it down a little bit.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that is the no, obviously it is. But I'm just saying, but it's the Al Pacino Any Given Sunday speech, and I actually, believe it or not, cut it down somewhat. I obviously rewrote it for fantasy football. It's a long speech,
it's like
but
a 5-minute YouTube clip.
Exactly. It's so I tried to whip through it.
Willie Beeman was definitely sleeping halfway through that speech.
100%.
Right? Matthew, we
100%.
see not only the guys.
But I think the Sharks did end up winning.
Yeah.
By the way.
Also, that's not a good movie, Any Given Sunday. It's a great speech. It's a great scene. It's not a good movie. It goes on for 80 minutes too long. There's just random tangents. It's not well done.
I wish there was a part 2.
Can I? The
music video?
I can't believe much to say this, but finally Jay Croucher and I have a movie take we agree with.
It's not a good film.
It's not a good. There are great moments in it. It is a collection of great moments,
100%.
but it is not a good
Is it entertaining?
It's Al Pacino is great in it. But Cameron Diaz is the team owner. It's like, like it's a disaster there. And I mean, listen, the Willie Beeman stuff is great. Jamie Foxx is great in it. Al Pacino's great in it. Who's the older quarterback? I forget.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. He's great in it.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid's great in it. Like, those three are great in it, but it's like...
It's like a series of individual scenes that are okay, but stitched together, a movie it does not make.
No, and the football stuff is not like it's not like Replacements level bad, but it's like, in terms of football
they
movie
tried.
action.
They tried. They put T.O. in there so they could get some real route running.
Right.
Most of these football
I think,
movies
isn't
have...
LT in that?
Yes, he's a linebacker. So they tried. It's not my football movie of choice, but because it's a football movie, I kind of got a soft spot.
How about this
for
question from in Jersey, producer Steven? I'm in the championship. I like how producer Steven getting direct questions now. I was projected 75% to win until King Henry played last night. Now I'm at 38%. I still have 5 more players to play. Pray for me. So the part of the
question. It's just, hey, Steve. They think Steven somehow is holy.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Path of least resistance to get on the show. But Matthew,
he is the path of least resistance to get on the show. Exactly.
The calculus. If you're either went against Derrick Henry, or maybe you had Gibbs, who was a dud.
Yeah.
How does that change maybe the start-sit decisions that you're making?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's just like you have to swing for the fences now. You can no longer. There are some players that have a wide range of outcomes, and there's some players that are more floor plays, and so. I'll just, as you know, Jay is a Colts man. He's for the shoe. He has been. He's still He's weirdly just put a bet on them to make the Super Bowl, even though they've been eliminated. That's how much he believes in the Colts. But to give the Colts, for an example, the floor play is Michael Pittman. The wide range of outcomes play is Alec Pierce, who could catch 2 or 3 long ones, but could also be 3 for 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but Pittman's going to be like, most likely like 5 for 60. Him or Tyler Warren are more the floor play.
Yeah, although I think Tyler Warren's strangely has some ceiling today. Tyler Warren got like 9 targets last week. Rivers is looking for his tight end because it's immediately in his field of vision in the middle of the field. And also missed him on a touchdown. But I agree. I think everything Colts is like high variance. Jonathan Taylor could have 30 rushing yards today. He could break a long one and have 125. I don't think either would be that shocking. So, if you want variance, lean into,
That's what I mean. I don't think you want to be reckless with it, but you just want, you want more variance. You want wider range of outcomes here. You need to don't
start Khalil Shakir. Start Khalil Shakir.
No, that's exactly right.
I think the best Colts receiver to start would be Josh Downs.
Really?
Yeah.
I would take Pierce.
Yeah. I would take Pierce as well. Again, if you're in a situation that we talked about, like suddenly the projections look a lot worse because either you faced Henry or somebody picked up Malik Willis, which we're going to talk about this on Monday. I'm just going to let you know this right now. But Connor Rogers in our 7th place game that picked up Malik Willis. And I have a huge problem with that because I'm a believer in, I'm curious what you guys think. Once you were eliminated from the playoffs, you stop making waiver claims. Like, I have not made one. I've tried to set a lineup as we go through the constellation, but I've not made one waiver claim because I feel like you should let waivers be for players that literally have a chance at the title. Yeah, and so we're in a 2-quarterback league, and but here's Connor Rogers making all sorts of moves.
Yeah. Well, he's an amoral, godless man.
Yes,
so
that's right. He's similar to you. Yeah.
Bonded by immorality.
Don't get me wrong. Had I made the championship, I would be livid that Connor has Malik Willis right now.
It's outrageous. Yeah, he's a disgrace. We are a pro Todd Zeal table. Everyone knows that.
I mean, but to be fair, he only doing that because he's facing you.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's true.
He's going to beat that dead
Connor
horse.
Rogers is full of God. He's a godful man. That's a great move by Connor.
All right, I started Bill over Michael Carter. I started Malik Willis over Sam Darnold. My opponent is the Derrick Henry manager. I'm without Kittle. So do I start Henry, Tonjes, Goddard, or Hill from Buller's Unanimous?
So I assume that's Hunter Henry, obviously. So it's a tight end question. So I think the answer here is Hunter Henry, just given all the injuries, because again, you're actually not in bad shape because you got a good game from Krosky Merritt and Malik Willis. So you're not as in bad shape going up against Derrick Henry. Having said that, I just think with no Pop Doug. We don't expect Pop Douglas to play. He's questionable. He hasn't officially been ruled out. But no Mac Hollins in this game. No Kayshon Boutte in this game, I believe. Right? So it's going to be Stephon Diggs and Hunter Henry against the Jets.
And then it's the Jets.
Yeah, and then it's the Jets. So I think the answer there is Hunter Henry.
Let's get to the players who have officially been ruled out for Week 17, and some of these names we've seen.
Is my name on the list?
Few weeks. Barry active. Wow,
Damn
Week
it.
17. Alvin Kamara out again. Romo Dunze out for the Bears. Kayshon Boutte with the concussion. The Patriots wide receiver core depleted. Mac Hollins also out as well. And then you got the trio of tight ends who are no-goes for the Fantasy Football Championships. These are the players wondering, okay, questionable, will they play? A lot of Travion Henderson owners wondering, will he be active for the Patriots? Chris Olave trending towards playing for the Saints, and he's had a monster last couple weeks. How about towards the bottom of the list, some pessimistic news for George Kittle, Matthew?
Yeah, Adam Schefter tweeting out earlier this morning that it is unlikely that Kittle plays, although Ricky Pearsall expected to play. I will tell you right now, Drake London is going to play. I will break that news. I have a good source that tells me Drake London is officially going. Yes, it's, as you know, Raheem Morris is my source, and Raheem texted me this morning on his way to the stadium. Anyway, so I think so. Harrison Hilliard 4608 is asking me Tirico McMillan, who showed up on the injury report this morning, Jay, with an illness, although expected to play.
Expected to play. Trayvon Henderson as well, cleared concussion protocol, so he is expected to play as well. Listed questionable. He will play in that game. Half-point PPR.
Henderson
flex.
to me is the answer here. I just going against the Jets versus Tet going against Seattle. Even if we're assuming Tet plays, but even if he were at full 100%, and he's not because he just showed up on the injury report, I just wouldn't love Bryce Young and Tirico McMillan against Seattle, against the Seahawks defense with potential number one seed in the NFC on the line. Like, this is a big game for Seattle. It's a big game for both teams, obviously, but important game for Seattle.
Agreed. Just to tie into something from a couple questions ago, Taysom Hill, I think we're going to get some questions about him. I think there's this idea that Taysom Hill is super high variance, swing for the fences, and he does have upside. I just don't think last week is at all indicative of what you can expect going forward. Taysom Hill's rushing prop is 15.5 today. He's plus 225 anytime touchdown scorer. Like, that was a huge outlier last week.
I couldn't prove it in a court of law, but I do believe I couldn't, and I'm in a court of law all the time. So I couldn't prove it in a court of law, but I believe last week's Taysom Hill game was 34-year-old guy on a team not going to the playoffs. He's been a fan favorite. He's been with the Saints for a long time. This is his last home game as a Saints player. Let's try to. It really felt like a high school senior game. Like, hey, let's send him out
on a high note.
Yeah, hey, it felt Rudy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's make sure Rudy gets a snap or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it did felt a little bit like that.
That was his first game all year with more than 10 touches. So that's exactly what it was.
Agreed.
This one's. You want to read this question? Okay, who we got? FF. So with Kittle out, should I start Juwan Johnson or Jake Tungus? Full PPR and playing in the championship. That is from Arawali. And I will tell you the answer here, and it's very easy. It's Juwan Johnson. When it's week 17 and the championship is on the line, the answer is always Juwan Johnson. Emmy Award winning Stupid Dev learned that one the hard way when he tried to take every tight end available to me when I had, I believe, Mark Andrews out for the year. And I picked up the one guy Stupid Dev forgot. This is why he's Stupid Dev, right? He forgot Juwan Johnson. And Juwan Johnson had 2 touchdowns that day and led me to my first of 2 titles in the League of Assholes. So the answer in week 17 is always Juwan Johnson. Also, he was great in week 17 last year as well, by the way.
Yeah, that game, the first one you're talking about against the Bucs, Juwan, some of those catches as well. He's like hurdling over guys. Like 2006 Antonio Gates. It's completely ridiculous. Juwan Johnson's just the best player in the league now.
He understood the assignment. He knew what was at stake week 17.
He absolutely did. So anyway, the answer is Juwan Johnson, clearly. I do like the matchup, by the way, for him. Tennessee struggles against pretty much everyone, but especially tight ends.
I do love there are certain players that'll have a moment like that you're always going to associate Juwan Johnson with that the rest of his career. And I'll give you
if Juwan Johnson and I are ever in the same restaurant, he eats for free. There's no question. Where he drinks for free here permanently forever. We love Juwan Johnson.
Well, you love him. We're okay with him.
Matthew likes speaking.
Right, he ain't win me no championship.
Like we saw at the top of the show.
Well, if you pick him up, if you should have picked him up last week.
Burning questions that we're getting to.
Yeah, let's do that.
And that time of year, you want to cozy up by the fire. First game. A lot of fantasy implications for 2 teams that are irrelevant when we're talking playoff picture. The 3-12 Arizona Cardinals, underdogs by a touchdown at Cincinnati, 5-10. over under the highest implied game total of the week, 53.5. We're wondering, any concern for the Cardinals' passing game after last week's dud finally out of Jacoby Brissett and that wide receiver core?
Yeah, I mean, listen, and their offensive line is beat up, so there's a little bit of trepidation here, but not enough that would make me change any decision. I have Jacoby Brissett, again, and worth noting that all of our rankings today, Lawrence's and I's, are based on the idea that, you know, all the teams that have played so far, there have been 10 teams that have played so far, right? Those of all the players on those teams have been removed. But, you know, I still have Jacoby Brissett as a top 10 play. 18 or more fantasy points in 9 of the last 10 starts. It's Cincinnati, who have given up the third most touchdown passes on the season as well. I'm a little bit, I wish, you know, for all of us that have Michael Wilson, we wish Marvin Harrison were not playing. It looks like he is going to give it a go, but will be limited somewhat in terms of his snaps. So for me, I mean, I have Wilson as a top 20 play. I have Marvin Harrison more as a shaky wide receiver 3. But yeah, I mean, this is a game that, you know, you should target, I think, basically on both sides of the ball here. Trey McBride is going to be should have a monster game.
Yeah.
How about this from Brandon? Almost got kicked out for a last-minute decision of having a live draft. Canceled my mother's birthday to draft, and now in the championship, I need to win. Hill, Tucker, MHJ, or Mumfield in the flex, PPR.
I don't think you can cancel someone's birthday. I think it still takes place regardless
Yeah,
of
maybe
your
the
schedule.
party.
He canceled the party, but since he's in the championship, clearly it was well worth it.
Yeah. So just I don't know if that's Sean Tucker or Trey Tucker, but I don't also know that it matters because Bucky
Chris
Irving's
Tucker.
playing. Yeah, is it Chris Tucker? Rush Hour 3 is finally going to happen, I promise. Marvin Harrison Jr. to me is the answer here. Mumfield is an interesting flyer. He's the Rams wide receiver that'll run some of the Devontae Adams routes against the Falcons, but just Taysom Hill, Mumfield, even Tucker, their roles are too small. We do expect Marvin Harrison Jr., even in a limited capacity, the matchup with Cincinnati is just too good.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Next question, Cardinals and Bengals. On the Bengals side, Chase Brown, would you say he's a top 10 play this week?
I think so. He's been a monster the past couple of months, really, even dating back to before when Joe Burrow came back. The reality is when Joe Burrow is here, when he's been healthy, pretty much his entire career, this is just an elite offense. It's an offense that you want shares of. I think that Chase Brown's season-long numbers are infected by the Jake Browning weeks. He didn't have an amazing rapport with Flacco early on. So, yeah, Chase Brown in a favorable matchup. The Bengals, 7-point favorites, super high total in this one. Good chance he gets in the end zone. I think he's a clear top 10 running back.
One of our pals, the regulars, Ryan Oswald, 37.90 PPR Flex 1. Olave McBride against the worst tight end defense, the Bengals, or Chase Brown against one of the worst running back defenses.
Wow.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I just.
Was this a 6-team league?
Yeah, I mean, like.
I was on
crazy.
McBride until I got to the part of the sentence where it says Chase Brown. But to add on to what Jay just said is why I would go with Chase Brown. The Cardinals have allowed 3 straight running backs to go 400 scrimmage yards. So, and he's the running back. He's going to get more opportunities. He's on the better offense.
Yeah.
That's how I would go.
So this is what I don't get. I mean, unless he's in a league that doesn't actually start a tight end, I don't understand who you would have a tight end that you're starting instead of McBride. Like I've got whatever. I've got Jake Thomas. I've got Jake Thomas in there. So now, can I play McBride in my flex? Like, are you going 12 personnel? Like Ryan, what are we doing?
Please clarify, Ryan.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. Ryan Oswald, one of our regulars. Here's what I would say.
Is it a different McBride? Miles McBride? What's going on?
So I don't understand it. But if for some reason if it really is one of those 3. Then, I mean, what I would do is I'd obviously play McBride at tight end, and Chase Brown would be my answer there. But if I have to pick one of those 3, I actually think I'm picking McBride. You know what I mean? Here's why. Again, we just know how the Bengals are the worst defense in the NFL against tight ends. They give more touchdowns to opposing tight ends than any other team, and it's by like 5. And then Taysom Hill and a tight end, stop it. That's dumb, Ryan. No. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to get rid of Taysom Hill.
So wait, hold on, man.
This is terrible.
He had us tripping. He tripping.
Okay.
Taysom Hill over
what?
McBride?
Come on. Ryan, what are we doing here? Ryan, you're going to take Taysom Hill out of your lineup.
Take him out and drop him.
Yeah, Trey McBride in your tight end spot, Chase Brown in your flex.
Ryan,
man, I was like, hold on.
Here.
Done. Ryan.
Oh, man, he's going to win now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Was
a
he
cry for
trolling
help.
us?
It had to have been
He
a cry
definitely
for help.
had to be. He had to be.
Yeah, anyway, all right.
Yeah,
anyway, the
he
point
was,
is, all my point is that I think McBride, forget position, McBride has a chance at finishing as the highest non-quarterback scorer today, given how much his usage is, given the over/under this total, given the matchup. Chase Brown, the only concern on Chase Brown is that, like, Samaje Perine's playing a lot. Like, you haven't cared because Chase Brown keeps scoring touchdowns, but Samaje Perine is playing more than I think people realize.
Yeah. Samaje Perine's like Michael Myers in the Halloween movies. He just keeps coming back.
Yes, he
You can't
does.
get rid of him.
To close the loop with Ryan, he chimed in on the chat. It's for a DraftKings lineup. So that would make
I understand.
more
So
sense.
he's punting. I understand.
Gotcha.
There's other places to punt. Other places to punt would be my answer there.
And using our official betting provider of fantasy football.
Because, like,
Yeah, no, we love
can't you-
DraftKings, so I understand he's trying to fit it into a lineup. But I would, I still prefer Trey McBride, and I actually think there are better tight end punts than Taysom Hill today. That would be cheaper. I'll find them for you. Hang on. Go ahead.
Battle for second place in Florida happening.
Yes.
Jags atop the rankings there. You got the Bucks. Remember when they were 5-1 at one point? They've lost 6 of 7 now. They're 5.5-point favorites heading to South Florida to take on the 6-9 Dolphins. Over under 44.5. For the Bucks, is Mike Evans, Lawrence, the only Tampa Bay wide receiver worth starting this week?
Probably not the only one worth starting, but he's the only one you feel great about, and that's been evident since he come back. There was no we're gonna put him on a pitch count. Baker Mayfield went right to him. Week 15, caught 6 of 12 targets. That's the important number there. The 12 targets, he turned that in to 132 yards. Week 15, so. Then he caught 5 of 9 targets. Wasn't for a lot, but he scored the touchdown. So the key thing here for me is those targets, 12 and 9, in an offense where you still got Emeka Egbuka, where you still got Chris Godwin. So I would say the other 2 guys are like more flyers in your flex spot, but Mike Evans is the guy that you feel sure about heading into the championship.
How about Jalen Waddle? Would you sit or start him based on what we've seen in the last month?
I would start Jalen Waddle and actually feel relatively good about it. This Bucs pass defense has been atrocious. Like, they can't stop anyone. And they're going up against Quinn Ewers, who wasn't amazing against the Bengals, but what he was able to do is, outside of the negative plays through the couple of picks, he still had a pretty high yards per attempt. He was able to operate the offense on system plays. He was hyper proficient. So I think that just this Mike McDaniel offense going up against the suspect pass defense, I think Jalen Waddle, who did get 9 targets from Quinn Ewers, had 70+ receiving yards. I feel fine about starting Waddle as a solid wide receiver too.
Yeah, and by the way, Waddle for Jay was your pickup line on Friday, which I took and I liked. It was 57. It's moved to 58.5.
Okay.
I took it yesterday, yeah. Anyway.
AJ True 83. Last week of Guillotine Final Four. These teams are going to be stacked. I'm in second, trailing by 20 points. Who are the upside picks? Trevler or Josh Allen, Gainwell or Evans, PPR Flex. Thanks for the fun year. Hashtag FF Pregame. Thanks for watching, AJ.
I'm going to say the upside picks are
Josh Allen.
Weirdly, I was going to say I think it's Trevor Lawrence and Mike Evans. I mean, again,
it's Allen just because of the rushing touchdowns.
He could. It's Philadelphia. I mean,
Trevor could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I feel like, the Colts, who was so beat up, who just got lit up by Brock Purdy, and this is an important game for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence could have a monster game. I'll just say, in terms of upside, that game in Pittsburgh, it's going to be Pittsburgh and Cleveland. It's going to be cold weather. I know Cleveland's been brutal against the run recently, and they're going to run a lot. But you also got Jalen Warren there. I think that Baker Mayfield, Evans has been getting a ton of targets. This is a huge game for the Buccaneers. I think Mike Evans has 12 targets today. I think just in terms of upside, right?
I agree. Evans over Gainwell for sure.
Evans over Gainwell. So, it's hard to say that Josh Allen does. Either quarterback has a ton of upside. So I'm just going with a matchup there between. Lawrence has been like the number 1 quarterback in fantasy for the last month.
I know, but Sauce Gardner back for the Colts as well. Final home game. Like the Colts, I don't think they've.
You still believe?
I don't believe. I think the defense will look. It will look better with Sauce out there. They did get torched, but they were playing the greatest quarterback alive in Brock Purdy. So now it's a step down to Trevor Lawrence. I just think Josh Allen. I think that almost every week Josh Allen has the highest upside because he's Josh Allen. So, yeah, I would go with Josh. That's a game also that they need to win to keep alive the hopes of the division. Now, you don't love that he's been on the injury report and seemed a bit limited in the second half against Cleveland, but I would still go Josh.
Last thing here, specifically Ryan Oswald or anyone that is playing DraftKings on the main slate in DFS. Michael Mayer is $2,500 versus Taysom Hill is $2,700, and I bet that Taysom Hill is going to have a much higher ownership percentage than Michael Mayer, who's $2,500. I prefer Michael Mayer as a tight end punt to Taysom Hill today. So I'm just Ryan Oswald. That's what I would do there.
Getting to that Josh Allen matchup, the Eagles 2.5-point dogs in Buffalo. Snow game. What you want to see late December in Buffalo. Over under also 44.5. So with the Eagles passing attack, Matthew, any weather-related concerns for that passing game?
Yeah, I mean, for the passing game, a little bit, right? I mean, like Devontae Smith's been, single-digit fantasy points in 3 of the past 4. The Bills have been pretty good against the pass. They've been brutal against the run. I think this is a big Saquon game. I think it's a big Jalen Hurts uses his legs game. You're probably still starting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I don't know that you necessarily have better options, but are there concerns? Sure. I will say that Dallas Goedert Goedert's been, really strong, and I do feel like the middle of the field is where you attack Buffalo in terms of the way they play. They play a lot of zone, and so I feel like that's why I feel like Smith and Goddard maybe more than A.J. Brown today. But I think it's a big Saquon game, and I think it's a big Jalen Hurts running game.
Yep. We were having the Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen debate. With Josh Allen specifically, have both of you guys chime in here. How many quarterbacks would you start over Josh Allen, given the stakes of a fantasy championship?
For this week, I mean, not that much. Probably Drake May because he playing the Jets. Trevor Lawrence because he playing the Colts, who just gave up 48 points. Not much than that. I wouldn't start any of them over him if they weren't playing the Eagles today. But for today, probably those two.
Yeah, I will say the one thing with Allen is that Jalen Carter coming back makes the Eagles' run defense significantly better. Yep. So I don't think this is going to be a game where, it's the James Cook show the entire time and one of those games where Allen just doesn't have to do much. I think Allen will have to do Josh Allen stuff in a game that I think the Eagles are going to score in this game as well. So I lean more to the idea that this is going to be more of a Josh Allen game.
The answer to me is 5. There are 5 quarterbacks I would rather start than Josh Allen today. And make no mistake, I love Josh Allen, proud fantasy life investor Josh Allen.
Not after this.
No, stop it. I've got his money. He can't take it back.
He's watching right now.
He'll pry it from my cold dead hands. But no, look, we love Josh Allen. I'm nervous about the weather. I'm nervous about Jalen Carter. I'm nervous about this Eagles defense. I'm nervous about a 44.5 over/under. Probably kind of be a little bit more of a slugfest. Here are the quarterbacks I would start over Josh Allen. You tell me where you disagree, boys. And anyone in the chat, you guys tell me if you disagree. I would start Drake May over him against the Jets. I would start Joe Burrow against the Cardinals. I would start him over him. I would start Brock Purdy tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock. I'm a company man against the Bears. They haven't punted since November, this offense. They literally have not punted since November, this offense. That's how hot the 49ers offense is. I would start, I'd start Brock Purdy. It is Brock Sember. And then finally, I would start the Traveler. I would start Trevor Lawrence over Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford on Monday night against the Falcons.
Wow. I'll tell you what.
Those are the 5 people the 5 quarterbacks I would start over Josh Allen.
I think whichever one of Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen has, if one guy got 2 tush pushes, that guy's going to have more fantasy points. And that could be either one of those guys. They both actually got the same odds to score. They're at about plus 100.
I think Josh Allen is great. There are quarterbacks I would start over him. is what I would say.
Breaking news, Matthew Jaquan Berry.
Oh, he brought it
nice
back.
Call back
Yeah.
there. So Josh Allen is the 6th best QB in the NFL.
But that's how they do, though. That's what the media do. They go.
That's right.
That's
They
already
twist
been
my words.
quoted. It's on
They
social.
twist my words. That's exactly right. Well, listen, better that than the speech I gave at the beginning. That's also embarrassing.
Let's not get it twisted. Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Brock Purdy, obviously.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
I would say Max Brosman's in there. Y'all tripping.
If the NFL had an actual like a fantasy draft and every player in the NFL were thrown back into a pool and they had a draft, I would think Josh Allen is the number one player
I
drafted.
think it's not even close.
Yes.
Yep.
Not even close.
Would be the number one overall pick.
Who's competitive with him?
Speak
Patrick
for
Mahomes has
yourself.
a torn ACL.
I mean, Mahomes is off a torn ACL.
If you're assuming health for
Yeah,
everyone.
still, Mahomes is. Mahomes hasn't been that level of player for 4 years in a regular season.
Nah,
3
give me
years.
Aaron Donald. Yeah, I'm just throwing him back in like he still played. Just give me Aaron Donald.
Yeah. It's Josh Allen.
Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Got two 11-4 teams.
Super weird. After Josh Allen goes, Lawrence comes in with a 2-pick and Kyle Pitts.
I mean, have you seen him?
We got QB3 at the top of the list. Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, quarterback 8. The Bears 3.5-point underdogs in SF.
By the way, other than
Over-under.
Josh Allen and James Cook, you're not starting any other Bill.
No.
Just I don't, you're not interested in Kincaid.
Second highest implied game total for this one, 51.5.
Should be a great one tonight.
With Bears pass catchers, you got Luther Burden back in the mix. Who are you feeling confident when you hit that start button on the Bears side?
I really like Luther Burden tonight, and if you watch Football Night in America, you may see Luther Burden as part of one of my bets, but I'll just say that his target share has increased in 4 straight games, right? 26% target share in Week 15 and, in Week 16. And since Week 5, Niners allow the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. No Roma Dunze in this game. We expect the Niners offense to be able, again, 2nd highest over-under in the slate. We think Brock Purdy and that offense is going to roll, and so Caleb's going to have to chuck it. And so Burden has been running more routes and getting more targets than DJ Moore. DJ Moore's had a couple of splash touchdowns, but Luther Burden to me is the guy that I like the most. I have them close to my rankings, but I do have Luther Burden higher than DJ Moore. In this matchup. I just think he's the electric player, and he's the guy. If you tell me one guy breaks it for a long one, it's Luther Burden. Like, they'll take a couple of deep shots with him.
Yeah. I understand DJ Moore obviously had the epic play to win the game, but he didn't really do much before that point.
You got to hope for the TD. He's got 3 in his last 2 games, and that's kind of what's been keeping him upright.
2 of them were miraculous. I mean, to be fair, the walk-off against the Packers, that's just a great throw and a great catch. I mean, the one against the Browns is completely insane in the back of the end zone. So, I don't think there's nothing too sustainable about his level.
But I think this is a game to target today. Ricky Pearsall's expected to be active. Don't know that I love, because who knows? But with no Jake Kittle, I think Juwan Jennings has a monster game here as well. Since Brock Purdy returned in Week 11, he's averaging 15 fantasy points per game. Bears since Week 9 allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers as well. Obviously McCaffrey here. Jake Tongas, I guess, is a fine punt at tight end, assuming Kittle is out, which we expect as well. I actually think both running backs for your Bears. I do think Chicago tries to run the ball here, George, and I think both Monangai and Swift are very viable flexes with potential RB2 production here.
Yeah, and with this implied game total of 51.5, I think if the Bears are going to win, it's got to be under. It's got to replicate the Eagles script that we saw where they're run heavy and trying to go 60-40 delta. If they get in a shootout, I don't think the Bears are equipped to keep pace with the 49ers offense we've seen of the last month. We got a question here. And Caleb has had his moments from FFB Addict, half-point PPR, tight end premium. Need 1 tight end, 1 flex. Kittle, Fannin, Gainwell, Pollard, DJ Moore, and Michael Carter. Help!
Yeah, I think but by the way, a lot of great choices there, Pod. I mean, Pollard's been red hot as well. Carter has the nice matchup here. We don't think Kittle's going to play. I think, to me, the answer is Harold Fannin and Kenneth Gainwell, though. Tight end premium, obviously, Fannin, you absolutely want him. You don't have another tight end. Again, we don't expect Kittle to play tonight. So I'm operating from that perspective. Definitely Fannin as your tight end, and then I think it's Gainwell over Pollard for me. better player, more usage. It's close, though, between those two.
And I think I'll go with the Gainwell call, too, more so because they're down at receiver right now. They're going to try to get that run going much like they did against the Lions. That's what worked. That's literally why they won the game.
No DK Metcalf. Did you guys see by the way, did you guys see the interview of the fan? The most ridiculous thing ever.
I scrolled, man.
It was bad.
I almost was like, when producer Steven wanted me to do the speech, I was just like, oh, maybe I should wear a sport jacket and my hat backwards and just do the speech from the press conference.
Sit at a little desk.
But I thought that would have been a little too obscure.
Too much like that guy.
Yeah, too bad. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that guy, man, oh man.
Yeah.
Pass.
Nothing good. Nothing good.
Nothing
Shot for
good
shot predictions we feel real confident in coming into this week. Matthew, you went last with our toast. Let's have you go first with our shots.
Sure. All right. As my friend Jay Croucher has said, it is Brocksember. Brock Purdy finishes as a top 5 fantasy quarterback in Week 17. Listen, Bears, as I mentioned, allow touchdown passes at the 4th highest rate. This team hasn't punted since November. It is a red-hot offense. Brock Purdy in prime time, at home, number 1 seed in the NFC, still potentially attainable for the 49ers. Brock gets it done in a huge way against Chicago. Top 5 finish coming for the Brockler.
Okay. My former mistress, the New Orleans Saints. They're going to win today. Keep it rolling. 4 straight with Tyler Shuck. They'll beat the Tennessee Titans as minus 120 favorites.
All right. My first one, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Big Joe Burrow throws for at least 280 yards. That's at plus 120. Since his return, that's 4 games. He's hit this number in 2 out of his 4 games. One of those was against Buffalo, who we know that's a top 2 pass defense in the league. Since he's come back, he's averaging 38 passing attempts per game, so you know he's going to throw the ball. Arizona, not a good defense. Give me 280 passing yards for Joe Burrow.
I'm hoping there's room on Jay's Saints bandwagon, because I bet this last week, Tyler Shuck, it was at 217.5. His overpassing went for 308. This week, the line's only shifted 5 yards to 222.5. I'm not only taking the over there, I do a ladder bet up to 270. You get plus 261. So he's averaged 290 passing his last 2 weeks. And who do they have? One of the worst secondaries in the NFL with the Titans. So a juicy matchup for the Saints quarterback.
All right, what's my second one here? All right, I got it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, come here. You know what? Tank schmank. Yes, the Raiders are in full-on tank mode, but that doesn't mean Ashton Genty is. Ashton Genty has pride. Ashton Genty's going to get the ball. Ashton Genty has a Giants team that allows the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running back. Ashton Genty is going to finish as a top 10 fantasy running back today. He has a monster game in a losing effort as the Raiders clinch the number 1 pick in the NFL draft next year. God bless. Raiders up.
Okay.
I don't know how you top that, Jay.
That was very strange. I'm going to go with another first-round rookie, though. Meke Ibuka, the Ibukala. Over 34.5 receiving yards. I understand it hasn't been great for Ibuka lately, though he has gone over this number in the past too. Josh Grizzard, OC at the Bucs, made a point saying that they're going to try to get the ball to Ibuka early. The Dolphins secondary is banged up and not very good when it's healthy anyway. I think Ibuka gets at least 35 receiving yards.
Yeah, he could do that. You know what Trevor Lawrence could do? Get 280 passing and rushing yards. That's at plus 101. The Colts have allowed at least 271 passing yards only in 4 out of their last 5 games. You look at Trevor Lawrence, he's thrown for 279 and 330 in each of his last 2 games. Ran for a total of 71, and one of those, you see what he did to the Denver Broncos, Jay?
Oh, yeah, killed him.
I think he's going to do that to these Colts right here. So give me 280 passing and rushing for the Traveler.
God, it seems a long time ago the Colts were 7-1.
It was.
How about the lose-out prediction? Only 2 more to go.
Yeah, but what do you mean? You got an old man at quarterback.
Hey.
I said when they were 8-4, I said they could lose out.
You killed Daniel Jones.
Chris Olave, has been having an amazing comeback year. Not only healthy the whole season, the last couple weeks, he's with Tyler Shuck, Dylan. Olave has gone 90-plus receiving yards the last 2 games. 233 total receiving yards with 16 receptions. Now he has one of the top pass funnel defenses to go against. His over-under 67.5. I'd play that up to 90 receiving yards at plus 219. Take the over.
There you go. All right, last one for me. You already heard me talk about the 49ers and how it's Brock Sember. But you know what? When Brock Purdy throws, you know what he likes to do? He likes to throw to Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is going to score at least 15 fantasy points tonight. Bears have given up at least 15 fantasy points to a wide receiver in 3 of the last 4 games. You tell me a wide receiver gets 15 fantasy points against the Bears tonight? Well, I say it's Juwan Jennings, who has been the apple of Brock Purdy's eye. He's scored in 6 of the last 7 games, Juwan Jennings has. He's a red zone target. No George Kittle tonight as well. Juwan Jennings, 15 or more fantasy points tonight on Football Night in America and Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock. I'm a company man. Here we go. Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders, plus 2.5. This line is now trickling up to plus 3 on DraftKings. I don't think the Giants should be 3-point road favorites over any sentient NFL team at the moment. They're an absolute mess.
Have you watched Raiders football?
The Raiders are a mess as well, but it's a mess versus a mess, and one of the messes is a 3-point favorite on the road. I think Geno Smith is playing for his career, Pete Carroll playing for his job. I think the guys that are out there are going to try for the Raiders. Tanking is done at a team selection level, not in terms of the guys out there on the field. I think the Raiders cover against the Giants.
How about Max Crosby with his trampoline video and shooting threes? He
got to get some type of work in. My last one, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts running for at least 40 yards here. He's ran for 40 and 39 in his last 2 games. And you look at this Buffalo Bills defense, fellas, they've allowed the 3rd most rushing yards to quarterbacks this season. We saw Shador go for 49 yards versus them last week. Drake May went for 43 the week before that. So I like Jalen Hurts' chance to hit that 40 mark again today.
Let's go.
There is no more dangerous team in the NFL at home as an underdog than the Carolina Panthers.
Oh my
you
God.
like all that? They are 10-1 their last 11 games.
Goodness.
At home as underdogs, 5-1 this season. I'm taking the Panthers plus 7 to cover against the Seahawks.
You know what to do.
Okay, keep pounding, George.
Fair enough.
You're
Yeah,
damn
keep
right.
pounding.
Can Sam Darnold lead the Seahawks to the 1 seed in the NFC? That's at 1 Eastern over on CBS and Paramount. You think Panthers could upset, or is this going to be an
they beat
ugly
the
one?
Rams, of course.
Yeah, Donald's been
Anything's
shaky.
possible.
Donald's been very shaky.
I think it
lately.
could be a
Revenge game for Sam Darnold. Hashtag revenge
Ah,
game.
there we go.
Sure.
It could be a Darnold 3 interception incoming type game.
He was
in
bad against
Carolina.
the Vikings. He might be bad against his former teams.
Chris Olave showing some Saints fans some love, and he was doing it on the field last week. 10 catches, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Jets. But now we got an NFC South matchup for Olave, who has really put together a strong campaign this season for the Saints. Good news! Active, inactive, everyone in the early slate active. Who's going to make the biggest fantasy impact, Matthew?
Well, Travion Henderson against the Jets, I think, obviously. Fannin, of course, I think, has a monster game here against the Steelers team that is really bad against tight ends as well. I'll just say that if I had to start a Browns running back, and ideally you're not, but I would prefer Dylan Sampson over Raheem Sanders or any of the other guys they have there in Cleveland. I think Sampson will be the guy that you prefer. It'll be Sanders and Sampson, but I prefer Sampson there. So there we go.
This from Anthony Artisan, I like at Hamcrabber. Help, please, from one cheer dad to another. So talking directly to you, Matt.
Yeah.
Half-point PPR. Diggs, Tet, Tracy, Gainwell, need the best 3. 3 or 4.
Need the best 3. Diggs, Tedero McMillan, I assume that's Tyrone Tracy, obviously Kenneth Gainwell. I think it's tough, but the answer should not be Tedero McMillan, but the answer is Tedero McMillan. Meaning, like, he's so talented, but you're going up against Seattle. He's less than 100%. And they don't want Bryce Young throwing the ball here.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is that when Diggs played the Jets last time, that Thursday night game, he went berserk. He went for like 100-plus receiving yards now. Mac Hollins is on IR. No
Kayshon Boutte. Yeah. Right. So Diggs is the guy going to be the main target, right? Tyrone Tracy, again, going against the Raiders in the Tank Bowl. Raiders can't stop the run either. And so Tracy's going to get 18 touches. And then Gainwell, we've talked about. That's going to be Aaron Rodgers, no DK Metcalf. Like, I think, to your point, cold game in Cleveland, low over-under. It's going to be all Gainwell and Warren. Pretty much one of those two guys is touching the ball in, I think, almost every play for the Steelers.
Yep.
So those are your 3 guys there.
Our running backs available more than 50% of leagues. And how about what we've seen out of Lawrence? Michael Carter.
Yeah.
The last month or so, and it's just because of all the attrition with the injuries that have built up in that Cardinals backfield, but he's been very viable and a good matchup against the Bengals.
Yeah, he was once the guy, then he wasn't the guy, now he's the guy again, like you said, because of the injuries. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the show, the Bengals are the worst defense in football, and you want anybody going up against that, and it says that with the over-under being 53.5.
Dante Johnson, start 2 PPR, Drake London, BTJ, Michael Carter.
Yeah, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy you're benching here. I think London, look, I get it, but from what I understand, Drake London is expected to play. We like Michael Carter. He's going to be the best of a crowded backfield, just the matchup with Cincinnati. Just nervous a little bit about Brian Thomas Jr. To your point, like, they have Sauce Gardner back, like, it does feel like Jacoby Myers is the number 1 guy. Brenton Strange and Parker Washington in that mix. They always like to play. ETN touches the ball a lot. So BTJ, to me, is the guy that you bench there.
Agreed. The issue for BTJ is Parker Washington's too good.
It's like a serious crazy. It's crazy to say, but that's exactly right.
Yeah, and we know what Jacoby Myers does. He's got the immediate rapport with Trevor. So, yeah, BTJ. I mean, there are worlds where Trevor can have a great day and BTJ's still, 4 for 49 or whatever. So, yeah, he's the guy you bench there.
Let's keep digging in with these wide receivers. And the guy who's back, Luther Burden at San Francisco. We've hit on him. How about Adonai Mitchell for the Jets going up against the Pats secondary, Jay?
Yeah, the Pats defense quietly hasn't been that great lately. They've been torched. Lamar Jackson was kind of doing whatever he wanted until he got hurt. Josh Allen, we saw what he did there. Now, obviously, this is going to be an easier matchup for New England, but Adonai Mitchell, he's getting targets, and, the Jets have been able to, at times, move the ball in this new-look offense.
Knowledge Bone 82, Chris Godwin, MHJ, or Mitchell for the Jets. Chasing the ship, good luck, need the pick to hit after Goff and Jones flopped.
Yeah, really did. Ooh, I'm going to.
Adonai?
I really do.
Not that crazy.
I actually do think it's Adonai Mitchell. Godwin's been brutal. Godwin just does not look like the same guy. And there's nothing about the Buccaneers offense that excites you. Mike Evans has had almost a 40% target share since he's come back. Like, that's the only guy that you trust, and that's based entirely upon just massive volume, and you hope he wins a 50-50 ball in the end zone. MHJ, to me, it's against MHJ or Mitchell, but MHJ is going to be on limited snaps. He hasn't been great since he's come back. Cincinnati, I mean, and you've got McBride, you've got Michael Wilson, and you've got the running backs there. Adonai Mitchell is really all they have for the Jets in a game in which they should be trailing. None of these are great answers. By the way, a knowledge bone. Listen, you should. I don't know. I don't feel like the bone has a ton of knowledge here. I got to be honest with you. He might be screwed bone, to be perfectly honest, given the option.
82?
Yeah, screwed bone to 82.
Yeah, my fourth bold prediction would be that I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Godwin's workload gets minimized a bit in favor of more Emeka Egbuka. Because Godwin, particularly 2 weeks ago against Atlanta, Godwin was playing almost every snap. Yeah. Why does Chris Godwin need to play every snap at the expense of Emeka Egbuka? I think Egbuka is just more talented at this point. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Godwin does very little today.
Yeah.
Well, and the injury that Godwin's coming off
severe injury.
Correct. And you would think next year he'll ramp closer to a 90% version of what he was, or closer to 100%. Right now,
could just be in the Cooper Cup phase of his career.
I'll tell you why he's on the field like that. It's the same reason. Well, Keenan Allen ain't on the field as much as Chris Godwin, but it's that veteran trust. It's one of Baker's guys, and he caught the touchdown a couple weeks ago, right? That's where you could trust Chris Godwin, and that's kind of it.
But see, I understand that from veteran leadership, and Baker wants him, and he's the guy, and they're paying him a lot of money. He just doesn't look like Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to take him another year to get back to being that guy if he can.
Yeah.
But I'm with Jay here. There's been an explosiveness to Egbuka. You've got Jalen McMillan back. I just think you're going to need the young guys to. If the Bucs are going to do anything this year, they're going to need production from the young guys.
Yeah, you guys should take that up with Todd Bowles.
Yeah, well, it's not going great for Todd Bowles at the moment. Need changes.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Blink 3 times if you're in on Egbuka. Blink 4 times for Jalen McMillan.
let's see your.
I feel like he's lost the locker room. I think unless the Bucs win today and win against the Panthers in Week 17 and win a playoff game, I don't think it's just going to be enough to make the playoffs. I think they need to win basically their next 3 games if they have a third game. I think they fire Todd Bowles.
The issue is, what exactly does Todd Bowles do well at the moment? Because he's always been terrible with the game management stuff. He's a defensive coach who hasn't had a good defense in quite a while now, and the pass defense every year has been a mess. So. I don't know what there is there anymore.
Our guy Medium Show has been in the torture chamber the last couple months. Our crack researcher, diehard Bucs fan. And he said
I like to get his feelings on Todd Bowles.
He's a Tampa guy.
I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, in fairness.
No.
How about you ask him?
I don't talk to him.
No. Let me. Medium Show. He from Georgia. He's from outside of the Atlanta area.
He gives me
but
crap
he's
about
a Tampa
Alabama.
Bay. Yeah, right. But he's a Tampa Bay Bucs fan.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. You guys, I just sort of say hi to Medium Show from a distance. It seems pleasant enough, and okay, fine. But that's good. I'm glad you talk to the little people. That's good.
I like you're in your ivory tower,
totally not.
Just waving down.
Yes, of course. Yes, exactly. The papal wave.
The Eye of Sauron.
Yes, exactly. Hello, Medium Show.
Yes.
Keep your distance. Hello.
Yeah. Let Medium Show eat cake.
Everyone knows the rules. Yeah. Let them eat cake. Exactly. Everyone knows the rules. No one don't address me unless I talk to you. Don't look me directly in the eyes. Refer to me as Mr. Barry. Of course, everyone knows.
You're the only one still socially distancing.
Yeah, of course. 1,000%. Can we talk for 1 second? I'd like the poll. Can we get a poll, producer Steven?
We got a poll now.
I would like a poll. I'd like a request a poll. Are we pro or con George's facial hair? I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm ready for this. George, who, suddenly rugged George.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends. Are you doing it on purpose or you just
lazy?
It looks like DiCaprio's little stubble in The Departed, which wasn't a great look for Leo either.
No.
Well, I like that you're trying to shame it. We saw you preseason.
Yeah, I'm not defending it. I'm owning that it was bad.
Patch Adams over here.
Yeah, look, get a close-up there of
Matches win matches, George Savaricas says.
Yeah, I'm not sure of this.
Very wispy.
It's very.
Not a lot of
I don't know, man. It's nice to have another facial hair brother on the desk. It's never happened. It's never happened.
You it works. Meanwhile, George, get another close-up of George. George.
This is too many George close-ups.
No, it's just you look like. I'll tell you, you look like the bartender at the local dive bar.
I bartended for years.
I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Good call there, right there, Bear.
Looks like that.
Previous
or,
life. That was me slinging Jägermeister shots.
An unshaven Kelsey Grammer in the Frasier episode where Frasier is alone on Christmas.
Yeah, a little bit of that. I could see, kind of, assistant manager at a lawn care place. That you got that look too.
Well,
a
I'm
little
not
bit.
surprised the two guys who can't grow facial hair are negging it, and then the one who actually can's like, I get it.
I can grow facial. Like
No
I have to shave every day.
Yeah. Here's the issue, George. You're one of us. You're one
No,
of us.
no.
I just don't look good.
Trying to claim me.
I don't look good with a beard.
Brady Cook comparing him to Josh Allen?
I don't know. You never know till you try, Matthew.
I do not look good with a beard. It's patchy and white. It's like it's gray.
It's white. You
It's
might
gray,
look
'cause-
like
yeah.
You might look like Deion Sanders when he grow his white beard out.
Yeah, maybe I should I do a Jack Black thing and just go with a big crazy beard?
No, go white beard, black hair.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how you
Let's
do
let
it.
America
That's the thing.
decide.
Maybe.
Another
All right.
thrilling poll.
Get me a poll.
Here on Fantasy
You don't say
Football
Swift, George
Pregame.
Savaricas v. No.
Yeah, who doesn't want to share their opinion? How about our quarterbacks and tight ends? And what do we got? It's great. It's terrifying. 0-0. That's how it should be right now. No one's voted.
They just put it up, dude. They just put it up. We're gonna get some votes in. Don't you worry. Calm down. Calm down. By the way, if we don't get any votes, it just means no one's watching, and it's literally like just we can just
Funny thing
do whatever
enough,
we want
I
for
would
the
just
next
look,
hour.
if I shaved all my facial hair off, I would just look weak.
Yeah.
There you
There you go. All right. All the votes are piling in. Everyone agrees it's terrifying.
50-50, real barn burner.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
I'm trying to get to Kirk Cousins, who has suddenly, Lawrence, become fantasy viable with the Atlanta Falcons, the fountain of youth for Kirk Cousins the last few games.
And you know what? He showed us he could do it beyond playing the Tampa Bay Bucks. All you got to do is protect him a little bit, and he could get the ball to the pass catchers. And the beauty of it, he's making everybody, he's getting targets to everyone. Drake London, he didn't have a great game, but he still got his 8 targets. Kyle Pitts, he was still a top 5 tight end. And then, of course, Bijan Robinson, still in that 6 to 7 catch range. So Kirk Cousins really, he kind of lightened it up on the low.
One guy that was on that list that I want to mention, George, you brought up, Tyler Shuck. In the last 4 weeks, he's been a top 10 fantasy quarterback on a points per game basis. You love the matchup against Tennessee, at least 17 fantasy points in every game in that stretch. So, there's a floor there with Tyler Shuck, who is playing well. We're getting a lot of questions about tight ends. Colston Loveland, since week 10, 49ers allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. I do think Colston Loveland is an interesting streamer if you're looking there. And I know it was a disappointing game last week, brutal as someone who started him and needed him and didn't advance in my dynasty playoffs. But Colby Parkinson, I do think could be okay against Atlanta on Monday night, especially in a game where I think they'll try to push the ball and get Stafford MVP votes. They're going to think they're going to try to pad the stats Monday night.
Yeah. Stafford, a heavy favorite for MVP, can probably lock it up with a big game against the Falcons.
Those are guys available in more than 50% of leagues. Cousins, I was checking this morning, available in more than 80%, which gets us to our desperation plays. And these are other guys who are available in more than 80% of leagues. So you've been tracking the injuries with the Patriots, and this guy jumped on your radar, Matthew.
Yeah, how about Kyle Williams? 3 of his 7 catches have gained 30 or more yards. No Kayshon Boutte, no Matt Collins. They're both out. And again, so Diggs isn't really the deep threat. They do like to take deep shots. It's the Jets. So how about Kyle Williams as a desperation play?
Yep, I'm going to take Kanata Mumfield, who people may not have known was a person until that Seattle game last week. But he is the wide receiver, too, for the Rams with Devontae Adams out. He's running a lot of routes, a rapport with Stafford. So I think you can do worse than Kanata Mumfield, number 2 option for the likely MVP.
I'm going to go with Michael Mayer here, who at this current time right now is probably available, in more than 20% leagues now. But he's played 2 games without Brock Bowers this year. One of those, week 6, he caught 5 of 7 targets for 50 yards and a TD. So he'll go in and replace Brock Bowers.
If I had said this guy a week ago, you would have thought I was completely schnockered on eggnog. But Phillip Rivers, 277, 2 touchdowns against the 49ers. Actually looked decent. Went for over 20 fantasy points. I would think the only way you're starting him is if it's a super flex or some crazy deep league. But actually looked decent at 44. Now he's going to be facing the Jags at home. They should be trailing for most of that game, so you figure it'll be a lot of game script for Phillip to be throwing it all over the yard. So these markets available on DraftKings. Prop a shot time. Who wants to throw first? Come on, guys.
Lawrence does.
I'll throw
Always does.
first.
Lawrence.
Back a little bit.
Step inside him. Bang!
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Here we go. From the chair. God dang it.
1 for 4.
Good throw by me.
Yeah, but George distracted me.
Side over.
George distracted.
Yeah, George distracted me.
With the arms up.
Along with a little defense.
Yeah, that doesn't happen when you play quarterback.
No,
You
never.
don't get distractions.
Matthew can only throw from a clean pocket.
It's Jared Goff over here.
I'm like Jared Goff. Say there you go. Clean pocket. I almost nailed it.
All right, well done, guys. Yeah, 1 for 6.
0 for 6. Yeah.
JSN receiving yards, Jay, 89.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. This was routinely set a little bit higher in weeks past, going up against the Carolina defense that I don't think will provide much respite against JSN. Sam Darnold as well, as we mentioned, big revenge game.
Lawrence, over to you. Josh Allen passing and rushing, 233.5.
A little nervous about going under on this one. He's hit it 2 out of his last 4 games. One of the times he hit it was versus the Bengals. The Eagles, though, they've only allowed this twice in their last 8 games, and that includes quarterbacks like Justin Herbert and Caleb Williams, so I'm going to go slightly under here.
Bucky Irving, back to being Bucky Irving. This is a combo number, rushing and receiving yards, Matthew, 84.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go under this number. He's been under this number in all 4 games since returning. They're just using Rachaad White and Sean Tucker a little bit too much. Love Bucky Irving. Wish they would give him more work, but I'm going to say under 84.5 rushing and receiving yards for Bucky Irving today.
What are we thinking with Aaron Rodgers, Jay? Passing yards, one handle on this, 186.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go under here. No DK Metcalf. I think that the Steelers, 4.5-point favorites, will lean heavily on the run. Cleveland have been much more susceptible to the run in the past month after being a lead before that.
Stephon Diggs, receptions, Lawrence, 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go over it here. Last time against the Jets, he caught 9 of 11 targets for 105. He's got a little 4-catch incentive right here to get $500,000, so he'll get over that a little bit, then he'll go over this 5.5.
The Trevor Lawrence, completions, 21.5.
I'm going over this number. 4 of the past 5 quarterbacks have faced the Colts have gone over this number. I do think Trevor Lawrence is as hot as any quarterback in the NFL. Going to go over 21, and I think the Colts will. To your point, I think they'll sort of Philip Rivers' last hurrah here. There's reports out that Riley Leonard could start in Week 18. So kind of a last hurrah for Philip Rivers. I think they'll keep it close. Give me over 21.5 completions for the Trevor Lawrence today for Jacksonville.
Late season surge for Tony Pollard, rushing yards, 60.5, Jay.
Yeah, I'm going to go under because he's going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, apparently the New Orleans Saints, who for 2 months now have been an elite defense, playing very well under Kevin Moore. I'm going to take under on Tony Pollard.
Ashton Genty, Lawrence, rushing attempts, 18.5.
You know what? I switched up on this. I'm going to actually go over right here, right? He's only hit this over 5 times this season, but 2 of those times were the times that the Raiders actually won a game. Right, so I expect them to at least be in a position to win the game. So I'm going to go over here for Genty.
We getting a big Jamar Chase week for fantasy championships, Matthew. Receiving yards, 88.5.
Yeah, I think, yes, we are. So I'm going over. Look, he's had at least 100 receiving yards in 3 of the 4 games since Joe Burrow returned. We talked about this game a lot, high over, under. So, yeah, give me Jamar Chase over 88.5 receiving yards in a shootout with the Cards.
Final 3 all Sunday night football props. Brock Purdy, passing and rushing yards, 269.5.
Yeah, going to go over. Not so worried about the Bears' defense where Malik Willis moved the ball. Largely it will. I think Brock Purdy, with the best offensive line that he's ever had, this Niners offense looks back to being the 23 Super Bowl Niners offense.
DJ Moore went over this on 1 touchdown catch last week, Lawrence. 45.5 receiving yards.
The people ain't going to like this. I'm going over it, damn it.
Wow.
He's got 2 straight games with a catch of at least 25 yards, and I think that big catch will help him get to this number 3 weeks in a row.
CMC getting loose in primetime, rushing and receiving yards, 118.5.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go under. Look, Chris McCaffrey, as great as he's been, has been under this number in 2 of the last 3. Only 2 running backs all year long have had at least 115 yards from scrimmage against the Bears. McCaffrey's awesome, but give me under 118.5 rushing and receiving yards for CMC. That's a big number. I think he'll have a big game, but I don't think he gets to this number tonight.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app, use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown
is yours.
Oh, the crown is yours. Oh, my God, it's so yours.
NFL leading receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba arrives for the showdown versus Carolina. JSN 318 yards away from breaking Calvin Johnson's single-season record.
Let's go.
With 2 games to play, that would be in a 17-game season versus 16 for Megatron. But it has been a monster year for JSN. Will it be historic these final 2 weeks of the season? More to come as you're watching Fantasy Football Pregame.
I get drafted here. Told that I'm not a special player. Told that I'm not, a good fit here. I'm told that, coach and I won't work. I've told, I can't win here. And so, I know that's going to keep going on. But, I do take a little satisfaction and things like that. And, being able to help this team, help this organization, be a part of it, to get to the playoffs. And, my goal isn't to just get to the playoffs. My goal is to win and win big.
Caleb Williams has had a flair for the dramatic this season for the Bears. 6 comeback wins in the fourth quarter, the most by a quarterback under 25 since Peyton Manning. Bears at 49ers tonight, 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Which team will get to 12-4? Both squads in the mix to get the number 1 overall seed. The 49ers dreaming of, if they win out, they could potentially win the tiebreakers if it was Rams, Seahawks, 49ers all at 13-4 as we are past the top of the noon hour. So we always start the show with a toast. Now we get a little grim. What is driving you to drink, Matthew Berry?
Oh, my God. Besides the 3 of you and your beard.
The beard
really like the 4 of us with George's beard.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, who we love, who's a friend of the show, who Jay Croucher has successfully cropped us out of a photo with, has not been great recently. This should have been an offense filled with fantasy superstars. Baker Mayfield is a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Evans and Godwin, Bucky Irving, even Kate Otten is a useful tight end. And for the last 2 months, they've been brutal. Many fantasy teams are dead. Not watching today because of what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done, and now in a must-win game. Can you trust Baker, Evans, Bucky today? So they are driving me to drink. I think the answer is you can trust Evans, almost a 40% target share in his 2 games since his return, and Bucky Irving, and hope that Sean Tucker doesn't vulture him at the goal line, and that's about it. Can't imagine starting Baker Mayfield today. But the Buccaneers are driving me to drink. Glug, glug.
Yeah.
Elongated.
Hear ye.
Well, hold my beer here, because I got the New York Jets.
Yes, sir.
Them damn Jets. 14 total touchdown passes this season, 12 interceptions. Hell, Breece Hall is one of those touchdown passes. Garrett Wilson is still the leading receiver on this team. He hasn't caught a pass since week 6. They got no interceptions on defense, no tip passes, no batted balls, How do you not have an interception on defense in this week 17? The only reason we got to watch these Jets is because people are starting Drake May in fantasy. People are starting Trevion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, and that's why we got to watch these Jets. Our poor fella Connor Rogers got to talk about these Jets every damn Sunday in his Jets uniform suit with a green tie on. So the Jets is what's driving me to drink.
They could set history. No NFL team has ever gone an entire season without an interception.
Man, if I'm Drake May, I'm waiting till they're wide ass open before I make a throw to a receiver.
Can't be the guy.
Don't let it be Drake May, please. I don't know who they play in week 18, but it cannot be Drake May.
How excited are you for Malik Willis, starting quarterback of the New York Jets next year in 2026?
Not that much, because I don't want what he's built with Green Bay.
You know that's what they're going to do. You know that's exactly what's happening.
Like, don't do that, Jets. Leave Malik Willis alone.
All right, I'm drinking for the conference that houses the New York Jets against its will, the AFC. The Denver Broncos are very likely to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Denver Broncos would be the 4th best team in the NFC West. This conference is an absolute debacle. I watched the hottest team in the AFC yesterday, the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud just isn't that good. He's just not that good. He was dreadful yesterday after the first quarter. This conference, the best team in this conference right now might be the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's where we are as a nation. The AFC, I drink for you.
I think it is the Jaguars.
I think you're right. By the way,
them or the Bills.
They are.
I mean, Jags could be a team of destiny and make a run.
5-1 to make the Super Bowl.
5-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Producer Steven could be his year.
That sound you just heard was NBC executive slapping their faces.
Mine is just.
No, do not give us the Jag. Don't give us a Jag Super Bowl.
Mine's the Week 17 injuries. I mean, you get all the way to your championship game, and if you're a George Kittle owner or some of these other big-name players, and now you're scrambling to the waiver wire, those decisions are what's driving you to drink as you're trying to win the ship today, Week 17.
Such sad music.
Yeah,
Very sad music.
The risky business music. I missed the upbeat
No, it is.
music.
Yeah,
No, this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
Quarterback rankings.
Yeah,
and remember,
let's get into that.
We have all these teams that have already played, so that's why maybe the names at 8, 9, 10 start of the week wouldn't have been there. But with all those quarterbacks already off the slate, we got Caleb Williams, Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield rounding out the top 10, but the top of the list, how about Drake May and Joe Burrow 1-2 and Brock Purdy? And that stat was what? They haven't punted since November, the 49ers, with that offense? I mean, they
had a bye in there, but still, it's pretty incredible. Also, the Packers haven't punted for 3 games now. Yeah, and they haven't punted the past 2 games, and they've lost both of them. Yeah. No idea.
But remember the chatter, did the 49ers have a decision to make with Mac Jones or
Which was a disgrace.
Brock Purdy? The fact that was
they don't
even
have a decision to make.
A debate. None whatsoever.
There's no decision to make. Well, honestly, I'll tell you what one decision to make is. I think Mac Jones is signed for another year, right? The decision is whether do you keep Mac Jones as a very competent backup to Brock Purdy, or do you trade him? Because I think you could actually get a decent haul from Mac Jones. Mac Jones has sort of rehabilitated his. I mean, like, think about we're out here in week 17. Think about some of the quarterbacks where, 39-year-old Josh Johnson started a football game. We saw Clayton Tune last night. I mean, like.
The sneaky thing with Purdy is he has missed time all 4 of his years in the NFL, so that would be the reason I would keep Mac Jones.
So you say decent. We got a question here. You want to take it, Matthew?
Yeah, PK from the Yay, longtime listener, shout out Pod Vader, my very first producer back at ESPN. So, wow, PK from the Yay is clearly a longtime listener, first-time caller. Purdy or Burrow facing off against my bro for the ship. Love you, MB. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, PK. Love you. I don't think you can screw this up because I think both guys should have monster games here, both Purdy and Burrow. I will just tell you, I have Joe Burrow at 2. I have Brock Purdy at 3. So my answer here is that I think I would go with Joe Burrow. I feel better about. I'd rather go against Arizona than Chicago. Arizona really has nothing to play for. They're beat up in the secondary. Burrow is out there playing for pride. Like, if you're going to be out there in this kind of season, you might as well put up some numbers. That's really so. I do think both guys have monster games today. But if you're telling me one of these defenses actually shows up and plays a tough game tonight, it's much more likely the Bears than the Bengals.
Yep.
I'm sorry, than the Cardinals, is what I would say. So anyway, appreciate you, PK.
You were just diving into Joe Burrow, and he's been putting up stats late
in
the season. Same story for Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to keep it going? He's been on an incredible run, Lawrence.
Yeah, he's going to keep it going against these Colts here. Look, since week 12, he's the top quarterback in fantasy in fantasy points per game, and that's almost by 5 points per game. In that span, the next best guy is Matthew Stafford. 4 out of his last 5 games, he's got a top 7 finish, so I like him a lot. Obviously, versus a team in the Colts who just let up 48 points at the crib. Now they got these Jaguars coming in who Jay said, and I disagree, that they're the best team in the AFC. So look for another good game from Trevor Lawrence.
Let's go to 11 through 20. Curious with Tyler Shook, because we've been saying how well he's been playing. The last 4 weeks, he's been a top 10 fantasy quarterback. He has a great matchup against the Titans, but he didn't quite get into your top 10, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of great matchups for quarterbacks today. But 7 of the past 9 quarterbacks that have faced the Titans have thrown for at least 2 touchdown passes over the last 4 weeks. Tyler Shook is QB 10 in points per game. He's had at least 17 fantasy points in every game. I just think Shook is probably weirdly more of a floor play than a ceiling play, just because they do like to, when they get in close, there's always the chance that they do something weird with Taysom Hill in terms of a throwing touchdown or a rushing touchdown. So the upside on Tyler Shook is a little bit limited. But yeah, I do like him today against Tennessee. I think he's a very viable streamer. Jeff Wood, 4837, bad weather game, Jalen Hurts, or pivot to Tyler Shook. I get the question, but I think that's getting too cute. I would stick with Jalen Hurts here.
You guys agree there?
Yeah.
Yep, agreed. It's Jalen Hurts. It's still Jalen Hurts.
Still Jalen Hurts.
Super Bowl MVP over Tyler Shook. Yeah.
But that's
and plus, I would say you didn't have Tyler Shook the first half of the season. I'm pretty sure he got there with Jalen Hurts.
The worry level, Jay, if you're starting Sam Darnold, revenge game in Carolina.
Somewhat high. Darnold quietly, it hasn't been a huge story because they keep winning these games, but I don't think he's really played a great game since he tore up the Commanders in primetime. That was like 2 months ago. There have been some stinkers in between then. He's throwing a ton of picks. I still think just because he has Jackson Smith and Jigba to throw to that you can feel okay starting to Sam Darnold. But, I mean, at one point it looked like, if they just throw a bit more, this guy's a QB1 for fantasy. Now I think he's just a solid QB2.
Mm-hmm. Running back ranks in preseason, we had Ashton Genty as a top top 3 fantasy running back. Now, finally, after last week, he's worked his way inside the top 10, and he has the G-men at home in Sin City, Matthew.
That's the point. The Giants have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to running backs. They're giving up 5.7 yards per carry to running backs. They may not be that motivated to tackle today as they're trying to play for the number 1 pick. Meanwhile, and when Ashton Jeanty gets at least 18 touches, and we expect him to get a heavy workload at home in a game where where it should be relatively close against the Giants, he's averaging over 20 fantasy points per game. We saw the monster game last week against Houston. Feels like they figured out something in this offense. There's not a lot to like there, but no Brock Bowers in this game either. So the offense should be running through Ashton Jeanty. So for whatever it's worth, I'm in the final of a guillotine league, and I literally just put Ashton, and it's only 2 teams down in the final of a guillotine league, guillotineleagues.com, shout out them. So every team's a super team. But I literally just benched Travis Etienne for Ashton Jeanty. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I think Jeanty has a monster game today.
Lawrence, same narrative for Saquon Barkley. You've seen a big workload where they're just funneling the offense through him, especially given the weather conditions in Buffalo?
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to get the opportunities. Last 3 games, he's got at least 20 carries, so that's a good thing. He's averaging 110 rushing yards in those 3 games, and he scored in each of them. So Saquon Barkley showing up for us in the fantasy playoffs if you were able to get there with them. Now you got a situation where it's you got a bottom 5 run defense in the Bills, where they're a top 2 pass defense. So we know the Eagles can win anyway, and they're going to try to take what the Bills give them, and that should be the run.
Next set of running backs in Matthew. If you are a Bucky Irving owner in the championship, you have managed your ass off because he hasn't given you a whole lot. He's been injured for a lot of the season, and now that backfield's been pretty muddled in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, especially when they get in close, right? Only 20% of the Buccaneers' team goal line attempts since his return. They use Sean Tucker a little bit too much for my comfort as a Bucky owner, Bucky Irving manager. He's also not being used in the passing game. That's Rachaad White. In the 4 games since he came back, just a 7% target share. Having said that, there is still volume for Bucky Irving. At least 17 touches in every game he's played so far this season. Dolphins have given up at least 100 scrimmage yards to a running back in the last couple of games. So I think Bucky Irving is a very viable RB2 today. I'm still starting him. I would just temper expectations. He's more of a floor play than a ceiling play.
Bucky Irving question. Michael Merrill, 55-43. Bucky Irving, MHJ, Michael Wilson in the flex.
Yeah, I mean, if MHJ were out, I would say it's Wilson. But because both wide receivers are playing, Bucky Irving is the answer here.
Agreed.
Yep.
They agree.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Do we have a poll update, by the way, on the beard?
Oh, yeah, let's get that.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Watch it be a landslide.
Come on, producer Steven.
Either way.
I think in favor has got to be big-time plus money.
How does your girlfriend feel?
She's a fan. How about it's great? 61%.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
terrible.
Wow.
so it was a landslide.
It's awful.
The regulars know.
No, the regulars don't know. This is they're all still
You
drunk
got
on
your
eggnog.
beard got more votes than Beyonce did last week.
There you go.
So
It's a good point.
if we had a rankings, it would be George's beard, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift. Now that's
order.
something for you.
I suspect voter fraud.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't understand
I question the integrity of this poll.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah.
I demand a
Count the
Get a
Chads.
recount in Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Damn it,
dear.
Steven. I just need 20% of the votes. Find me 20% of the votes.
He said, rig it.
Come on.
Rig it.
A lot of show left. A lot can
of show
change in the
left, lot
last
of show.
32 minutes.
Yeah.
Another running back in that 11 through 20 slot. If the Bears are close late in the 4th quarter, DeAndre Swift has done what?
Yeah, I think he's gone 75-plus rushing yards at least. His rushing probably set at 58.5, which seems a touch low to me. I understand the Niners shut down Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor's better than DeAndre Swift, but I just think it's so easy to shut down a running game when the quarterback is in shotgun every single snap, as Phil Rivers was against the Niners. I don't think this is a good Niners defense. I don't think it's a good Niners run defense. I think that the Bears should be able to do what they want on the ground.
They've been, ever since they lost Fred Warner, they have been bad against the run.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Fred Warner, there's no Nick Bosa, there's no Michael Williams, who they spent a first-round pick on. Like, they just don't have the horses on
That is a lot.
defense. And I think that the Bears will expose that. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game tonight.
Well, and if you're running from shotgun, you have no optionality, but
Yeah.
based on where the running backs line
Well, that's the
versus
thing.
if you're
Yeah,
under
that's
center,
it.
then you do.
If
Yes.
you are running from the shotgun and then you have a quarterback like Malik Willis, who we saw on the read option, pull it and go, well, that's not Phillip Rivers.
Yep. 100%. Full PPR, I sat Watson, start to dig Swift, Godwin, or Pearsall. My first championship. Need all the help.
First off, don't beat her up. I get that. Watson was, came into the game a little bit banged up. You weren't sure about it. Malik Willis, more of a mobile quarterback. You didn't know if he was going to throw as much. Honestly, and I expected the Ravens to play better defense than they did. I mean, I know they won the game, but
Ravens defense.
I'll tell you what, I did
don't
not
beat yourself
expect
up on
it.
Watson.
Not like their corners been getting toasted lately a lot.
I know, but it's just like with the Packers, Jaden Reed, and
But not for with these options, I get it.
I'm just literally saying, Ace, don't beat yourself up on sitting Watson.
It's
and
Diggs
the answer is it's Diggs and Swift, and I don't think it's particularly close.
And you should feel good about that,
Yeah. We like Swift to get a decent workload tonight in a high-scoring game, and as we talked about, no Mac Hollins, no Kayshon Boutte. Diggs should get a lot of targets in a great matchup with the Jets.
Yep.
Wide receiver ranks 1 through 10. We've been banging the Chris Olave drum for a lot of the show. What are you seeing, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm seeing what you're seeing, which is that, Tyler Shuck looks at him and only him. He's had 7 starts this season, Tyler Shuck has. And in those 7 starts, Chris Olave's averaging almost 18 points a game. He's got a 28% target share. And now you get a matchup against Tennessee that gives up the highest catch rate to opposing wide receivers, giving up at least 15 fantasy points to a wide receiver in 7 straight games. So you're telling me a wide receiver on the Saints is going to get at least 15 fantasy points? I say it's Chris Olave. I don't think I'm going out on a limb there. He's a top 5 play today.
What's the feeling around A.J. Brown now that we're factoring in weather conditions in Buffalo?
Well, to be honest, man, you got the weather, sure, right? But then you got the over-under, 43, 44 and a half. There's a chance that this could be like a little slugfest, right? And if the run is working for either team, especially the Eagles, then they're going to stick with it. And A.J. Brown has come on. 3 out of his last 4 games, at least 6 catches, 12 targets, and 95 yards. He's been a top 5 fantasy receiver in that span. And I do not think there's a single man on that side of the defense that could just straight up deal with A.J. Brown. But collectively, they're one of the better passing defenses in the league. So I think the Eagles will they'll pick in pride. If that run is working, they'll lean that way. Obviously, you're still starting A.J. Brown because he's one of them guys, but just, kind of temper it just a little bit.
Yep. Just quickly, DJ Moore and Olamide Zaccheaus both added to the injury report with illness. So if DJ Moore is the relevant one there, if he can't go, Luther Burden becomes almost a must-start to be a wide receiver 1 against a very suspect defense, as we see the tweet there from Adam Schefter. And then Colston Loveland becomes a bit more appealing too, if no DJ Moore. I think you're starting both of those guys regardless, but they become much more attractive.
Yeah, but I will say that for some reason DJ Moore is ruled out, but Olamide Zaccheaus plays. They've used Olamide Zaccheaus as a wide receiver 3. They've used it more than people might realize.
Yeah, no, he
was running ahead of Luther Burden for much of the first half of the season.
Yes, and then he had some big drops in the Packers game. We saw Jade Walker, who had that catch on the 4th and 4 to tie it up. So Zaccheaus was definitely running as the number 3 for the first half of the season. So with DJ Moore now questionable due to injury, a.k.a. Sickness, would you play Tet or risk DJ Moore not playing on SNF and then throwing in Jade Walker last second?
I'd be playing Tet regardless. I'd prefer Tirico McMillan to DJ Moore.
Yeah. I think Tet's got a better chance at a touchdown, especially given the fact that DJ Moore may or may not go, or even if he goes, maybe he's less than 100%. He's just out there, as a decoy. So yeah, I think I would play Tirico McMillan is what I would do. T-ball.
And Bears have had a lot of guys sick. Darnell Wright wasn't on the injury report. Then all of a sudden Saturday didn't travel with the team. He was traveling separately. So I think they have some type of flu or something.
Yeah. I've never investigated this because I'm lazy, but I've always thought that if you have multiple guys on the injury report with illness, whether that kind of implies something about your ability to cover the spread, because the implication is there's probably other guys who are sick as well on the team.
Who are somewhat compromised.
Yes. So not ideal for the Bears. Niners roll. Brock Sember marches on into Brockanuary.
Brock balling.
Jacoby Myers been balling since he's been traded from the Raiders to the Jags, and it seems like Matthew, week to week, it's either him or Parker Washington who's the Jags' #1 at wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Jacoby Myers has gotten at least 25% target share over his past 5 games. Had a lot of Pat Surtain. They either bracketed him or used Pat Surtain on him last week against the Broncos, and so they just were able to, Parker Washington had the big game, but I think Jacoby Myers, who He's been a top 20 wide receiver since he's come to the Jaguars. Clearly has a connection with Trevor Lawrence. He got the big extension. They paid him already. That's how important they think Jacoby Myers is to this offense. And since week 11, Colts give up the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. I get it. Sauce is back. They're going to have a more healthy secondary, but still, this Jaguars offense is super red hot. And the answer here from Longhorn Javi, Jacoby Myers or Dylan Sampson for the ship. It's Jacoby, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jacoby.
Non-PPR doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the scoring is. We like Jacoby.
Wide receiver 11. Look at you, Jacoby Myers.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Wasting away with Geno Smith not that long ago.
He's able to escape.
DJ Moore is the last guy we're going to hit in these wide receiver ranks. We've been talking about him. With that sickness update, is it a blanket bench, or if you have another guy who could go Sunday night or Monday night, then maybe you'd wait to see if he's a game-time decision?
Yeah, I think that this kind of brings DJ Moore closer, literally like closer to the Kanata Mumfields of the world, honestly. Like, I think that DJ Moore, the expectation, if he does go, I would say the median outcome for DJ Moore is going to be like 5 for 48, that kind of game, where he's naturally an underdog to score a touchdown. It's been a strange year for DJ Moore. I don't really understand how he's been used, why he hasn't had a better season. Just they're so run heavy. Burden's been a bit better than expected. Dunze was the guy early on. So, yeah, heroic moment from DJ Moore, epic finale to that game, but that's kind of been the highlight of his season.
Far and away. And it's been a lost year where he's well below 1,000 yards. He's below 700 yards.
Doesn't look like the same guy. Yeah.
It hasn't. It's had his moments, but it hasn't been the
He's also very tired at the end of the game. He took the
penalty.
Start?
Yeah, he didn't get set.
He was gassed. To be fair, he was the number one wide receiver. It was cold, but still.
I mean, we were gassed around the 40 in the Cowboy Stadium.
That's true.
So.
That's fair.
Tight end ranks 1 through 10. Hunter Henry has to be elevated with all the Pats injuries this week, Matthew.
Yeah, since week 12, he's very quietly been the 6th best tight end in fantasy on a points per game basis. Now, he had that one big game, which I think has inflated a little bit of that run, but still, 3 of the last 4 games, he's gotten multiple red zone targets. When they get it close, he's one of the guys that Drake May looks for, and it's a great matchup against the Jets, who are bottom 10 over the last 4 weeks in most fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends. As we've said throughout the show, no Boutte, no McCollins. It's really going to be the Diggs and Henry show, and a great matchup where Drake May still has the potential to win the MVP. I think they will try to get him some stats here. Patriots still alive for the number 1 seed in the AFC East as well. So this is a big game for New England in a couple of different areas. By the way, worth noting as well, you also have Kyle Williams out there. You have the running backs, but Hunter Henry should continue to be a factor in the red zone.
Henry Roque, 67 on the tube. Rico, Stevenson, Hunter Henry. Pick just one.
I think it's Ramondre for me. Just a better chance at a touchdown of all of them.
Yeah.
There's a chance that they're up big in the second half and they're just running.
Yeah, and even though Travion is playing, maybe they don't give him a full workload coming off the concussion in a game where they're 13.5-point favorites anyway. So, yeah, I think when you have 3 guys who are closely clustered together, I usually default to who has the best chance of scoring a touchdown, and I think that's pretty clearly Ramondre.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a buy on my end. Other tight end to get to, and your guy who had arguably the best single tight end performance all season, Kyle Pitts.
Not arguably.
Inside the top 10 in the rankings this week. What do you see with this matchup, though, against the Rams?
Well, the Rams themselves are middle of the road when it comes to going against tight ends in fantasy. But for Pitts himself, I don't know that matters how they defend the tight end position. He's been the top tight end in fantasy since week 12. And this last game for them was particularly interesting because we wanted to see what the target share looked like with Drake May back. Well, this is what it looked like. Pitts caught 7 of 9 targets for 57 yards and a touchdown, and no other pass catcher was hurt from them. Drake London, he saw 8 targets. Bijan Robinson saw 11 targets. So Kirk Cousins is throwing the ball to 3 guys. Pitts is one of them, and he's delivering.
Last tight end to touch on, Brenton Strange for the Jags.
By the way, not mentioned right there is the fact that, Lawrence has Kyle Pitts as his number 2 player overall in the NFL.
Yeah.
Josh Allen and then Kyle Pitts for Lawrence.
Yeah. No. I would take Pitts after he picked Josh Allen.
Yeah.
If I had the top pick of all players, I'm taking Kyle Pitts
Well, of
first.
course, that's
We're going to
obvious.
build that offense around Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
We're going to line him up in the Wildcat. We can do what we got to do.
100%. Yes, fully accurate. Yes, but you mentioned Brenton Strange here, who's out there in a bunch of leagues, by the way. I think he's a very viable fill-in for George Kittle if you're suddenly sort of scrambling for a tight end. 3 of the 5 games since he's returned, he's had at least 13 fantasy points, 6 red zone targets over the last 3 weeks, and now he faces the Colts, who have given up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends for the year. So part of that high-flying Jaguars offense, Brenton Strange, he comes in at tight end 11 for me as you see it there on your screen.
It is time for our anytime touchdown parlay. You can play along with us on DraftKings. But first, let's play a little flip cup to do our grand reveal of who our 4 picks are.
Just to let y'all know, I've won this twice in a row, so.
Yeah, you're pretty good at this. I'm not going to lie. All right.
Bang!
See, I should have shut the hell up.
Oh, my God. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah. Matthew's lost every week.
I really have. I don't know. I'm usually good at it, but on air I'm not.
Yeah.
There you go. See, perfect.
Yeah.
When the pressure's off, you know what it is?
usually good at it, just not on air.
No, I do.
What else are you playing?
The lights is bright.
Clayton Tune said the same thing after the game. I'm usually good at quarterback.
You know, usually when I don't have to actually get in the game.
When I'm playing flip cup in the red practice jersey, I'm great.
You're
you
one
have
of
no
the best.
idea. Yeah, just on Wednesdays. Yeah, I just had no presses around. It's just the problem. Yeah, just not
dear.
with the bright lights. I just fold under
Bright
the
lights of Studio
the bright
2.
lights of of Studio 2. It's just no. To answer your question, no. We there's a neighborhood flip cup. We play flip cup in my neighborhood.
It's like instead of book club?
Yeah.
Huh?
Instead of book club, you have flip cup.
No, just whatever.
couples bonding.
I have where I live in my neighborhood, we're very close with a lot of the neighbors, and they have a lot of adult children, and so the kids, my kids, I have a 27, 25, and 21-year-old, and like our friends have kids of similar ages, and so like they'll all play flip cup, and then like the adults will come and join and that kind of stuff, and that's where I'm.
And
anyway.
there's no cameras there. And
Yeah,
why
and
you're
there's
so
no
good at it.
cameras
All
there.
right, I'm going to take Travis Etienne for the touchdown
Sure, here we go.
parlay. Jags clear favorite against the Colts. Travis Etienne should get in the end zone.
I'm taking CMC, 16 touchdowns this season, 15 games. He'll score against the Bears.
I will go with the lone receiver in this group, T. Higgins. He has scored a touchdown in 6 out of his last 7 games. 10 total touchdowns this season, and he's only played 13 games. He's tied for 3rd amongst receivers with 10, so I'm taking T. Higgins.
Yeah, and we've talked about Ashton Genty a lot this show. I just think he's going to get close to 20 touches. He scored a couple of touchdowns against the Texans. He's really the only way the Raiders can move the ball against this bad Giants defense, and I do believe they'll be able to move the ball. So give me Ashton Genty.
Jonathan Medici, one of the regulars, Barry folds under the bright lights.
This
does.
This is factually correct.
What's the bigger?
Barry's Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, exactly. I can't handle the big pressure. Just crush. Tell my wife, dark lights always have to be dark. Yeah.
Bigger lie.
Yeah.
Barry impervious to beer. Barry good at flip cup away from the lights.
Beer, the beer one.
The beer one might be tops. Yeah, it's scientifically impossible.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Because you might win the neighborhood flip cup.
You guys,
but this is the big
you
dogs.
guys can come over for flip cup night and watch me drink a bunch of beer and not get drunk.
What does that say
That's
about
what's
his
happening.
competition if he's winner in neighborhood flip cup nights?
Stop it.
Colts fans thought they were saying their goodbye to Phillip Rivers in 2020. Phil's guitar solo, maybe it's his grand finale, Week 17, likely his last start for the Colts this season, Jay.
I really don't understand why he's starting. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Shouldn't Riley Leonard be the starter?
I would start Riley Leonard at this point. You're out of it.
I get that. That's all right. Good year for the Colts.
But he looked good last week.
He did. He's probably better than Riley Leonard.
Yeah, but it's just
point.
You're out.
Yeah.
He's not part of the future, you're saying.
Because then the next week after that, like, who you start, Riley Leonard or Anthony Richardson? Who got to get that
Anthony
rep?
Richardson.
Right. Anthony Richardson, I agree with that. I don't know if he'll be ready or not.
That's the
report
thing.
that I saw was it looks like Riley Leonard is trending towards.
Whatever the case, some young quarterback on the Colts
Yeah.
should get some reps.
Good luck against the Texans.
Yeah. Scale of 1 to 5 beers, what would it take for you to start these players? Jags at Colts, BTJ. Jay?
2 beers for BTJ, just because the matchup is so favorable against the Colts. Perhaps Sauce Gardner gets more Jacoby Myers activity, given Jacoby is the #1 receiver for the Jags these days. So BTJ, not particularly inspiring, but I think he's a fine flex.
Are you finding Michael Pittman inspiring, Lawrence?
Nah, I'm going to need 4 of them things. In 2 Phillip Rivers starts, Michael Pittman has 32 yards and 26 receiving yards and 5 targets, so not a crazy amount of targets. So I would need 4 to start Pittman.
What are you thinking with Tyler Warren, Matthew?
Yeah, just 1.5 beers. Like, again, with Phillip Rivers under center, 25% target share. That's a team high over the last 2 weeks. Tight ends that have seen at least 6 targets against the Jaguars this year are averaging over 14 fantasy points per game. Phillip Rivers, not the strongest arm in the NFL these days at his career, but he is reasonably accurate. And so the tight end position, middle of the field, is one place where you can attack the Jaguars. So I do think Tyler Warren, there's a little bit of a floor place, my tight end 6, just 1.5 beers, which, as you know, for me, as impervious to beer, means nothing.
Question from Medici for you, Jay. How many beers to start Barry in your local Flip Cup league?
50.
Yeah, I mean, even I agree with that. I mean, like, I'm just, listen.
I'd rather start Clayton Tune.
I've melted under pressure. There's no question about it. I completely own it. It's just, I don't know what to tell you.
Jay said,
I'm gonna watch the
Chuck
tape.
Knobloch throwing a first base with these flip cups.
Right.
Jay said at least Clayton Tune has some good college stats to build on.
No, they just didn't have film back when I was in college. They hadn't invented a camera yet. But yeah, look,
Back in
listen, I'm gonna watch the tape. I'll get better.
Yeah.
Whatever. We got some work to do, and we'll get after it.
I'd say you got a little Sam Darnold in you, and that's our next matchup. Seahawks.
I see ghosts. Yeah, exactly. The bright lights. It's now in my head. It's all in my head. Yeah.
But we're not talking about starting Sam Darnold. We're talking about KW3, Jay.
Yeah, 2 beers for KW3. Inevitably, he gets tackled at the 6-yard line every single game after a long run. But the reality is the Seahawks, 7-point favorites. Carolina's defense not particularly imposing. Ken Walker is a fine RB2.
Tet McMillan for the Panthers, Lawrence. How many beers would you need?
I'll go just 2 beers here. He's got a touchdown in 4 out of his last 5 games here. And in those 5 games, he's got a reception of at least 20 yards. So the big playability always there when you got Tirico.
Uncle Rico's been cooling a bit for the Panthers. What would the beer load be this week?
Yeah, 3 beers. I'm not crazy about Rico Dowdle in this one. Look, last 3 weeks, he's the running back 29 on a points per game basis, right? Week 11, that was the last time that Rico Dowdle scored more than 13 fantasy points. He's 41st. He made the hate list this week, right? During this stretch, since week 11, right? He's 41st among qualified running backs in fantasy points per touch. So he just hasn't been super efficient when he's getting those touches. And obviously, he's not getting a ton of touches because Chuba Hubbard is basically splitting with him. Now you think about this matchup against the Seahawks. Seattle allows the lowest yards per carry to opposing running backs in the NFL. They're giving up the 4th fewest rushing yards per game. So with Rico Dowdle, what you're doing is you're hoping he falls into the end zone. He'll get double-digit touches in this game, and you're hoping he'll probably have a shot at a touchdown. So that's what you're sort of banking on. But 3 beers, I'd want to feel pretty, for a normal person, feeling a little loose here because he's a shaky flex for me today.
Patriots and Jets. Pats 12-3, Jets 3-12. Somehow the Jets had a better record than the Pats last year. Not the case this year. Jay, with Breece Hall, how many beers would you need?
2 beers for Breece. Basically just the volume play. He is still the main guy in that offense, and even when they were getting blown out by the Saints last week, he still got 16 carries, 2 receptions. So Breece Hall, a solid RB2.
Travion Henderson, a go.
Yeah.
So is he a go in your lineup, Lawrence?
Yeah, 0 beers. Coming into that Ravens game last week, He was a top 5 running back in the past month. Now you're going against the Jets, who allow the second most fantasy points per game to running backs. This is a no-brainer for me.
It seems like anyone on offense going against the Jets, you're smashing the start button, especially with Stephon Diggs, Matthew.
Yeah, when he's seen 7 targets so far this year, he's averaging over 17 fantasy points per game, and we expect him to get at least 7 targets with, as we've mentioned a million times during the show, no Kayshon Boutte, no Mac Hollins in this game. Great matchup against the Jets. Last week, 80% route participation is 3rd highest of the season, and so in a big game that's important for the Patriots' postseason hopes and their seeding, I think Stephon Diggs gets fed. I think he gets fat. I think he gets a lot of fantasy points. Fat on fantasy points is what I meant to say there. Yeah, thank you very much.
Real word,
for the chief ball officer, Stephon Diggs, friend of the show. The Diggler.
Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler, yes.
Legend.
I feel like this could be a good last place punishment. Make someone watch the entire game of Giants at the Raiders.
You know what's another good fantasy punishment? Make everyone watch Magnolia. Like that would be a good fantasy punishment. It's just you have to watch Magnolia and write a book report on it.
Oh,
that would be a.
You had to go there.
That'd be a great day.
Oh my
Pressure.
God, it's awful.
Yeah,
So he already got the book report ready.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had a week alone. Have you watched Magnolia?
No, but I watched One Battle After Another by the director of Magnolia.
Yeah.
A bit more action.
I've heard that one's really good.
It's phenomenal.
I
Not as good as
haven't seen it yet.
Magnolia, but a very good film.
I've heard One Battle After Another is really great.
excellent.
I need to watch that. It's on the list. You know what we should do is we should make producer Adam, who did finish last in our league.
Yeah.
He should have to do it.
Yeah, Magnolia.
Yeah, the Magnolia
We'll
punishment.
write the book report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than the Waffle House punishment.
I would love to get punished by eating Waffle House.
By the way, shout out
24 hours?
to IHOP, who like just embraced it. You know, like it's one of those things. It's like it's supposed to be a punishment, but then IHOP was like, yeah, and we'll give you free pancakes. Like, you know, shout out to them, and they got Malik Neighbors in there. Like, yeah, it's kind of my fault. Like,
Yeah.
whole thing was great. Home run. Well done. Well played.
How much fault do you put at Jackson Dart's feet for the Giants season? How many beers?
It's not been a great close to the season for Jackson Dart. That was a bizarre performance against the Vikings. Still 2 beers, much more favorable matchup in a dome. He'll still seemingly run the ball. Reasonable chance of a touchdown against the Raiders. So a little hesitant, but 2 beers for Jackson Dart.
Hasn't really been the same guy since the concussion against the Bears.
No,
after that.
They're running out the clock on the season.
Wan'Dale Robinson, how many beers, Lawrence?
3.5, man. Look, 55 or less receiving yards in 4 out of his last 5 games. And let's just be honest, speaking of Jackson Dart, Wan'Dale Robinson, 2 best fantasy games this year came with Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. That's the only time he went over 100 yards. And to be honest, the Raiders defense last few weeks, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, all under 60 yards. So 3.5 beers.
And finally, Tyrone Tracy, Matthew.
Yeah, just 2 beers on Tyrone Tracy. We've talked about this. His last 4 healthy game, he got at least 18 touches. Only one team allows more running back touchdowns than the Las Vegas Raiders, who are in full-on tank mode. They're top 10 in most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. Tyrone Tracy is a top 12 running back for me today. Just 2 beers, which, again, for me, nothing.
All right.
I like him. He's a solid RB2.
Lawrence, 9.5 beers there. Pickup lines time. We got 30 seconds to go. So what's your holler?
Oh, Jalen Hurts and Saquon combined for 125 rushing yards. They've hit it their 2 out of their last 3 games. That's including the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's it.
All right, I'm taking Geno Smith over 200.5 pass yards. Giants, one of the worst pass defenses in the league. Your man Marcus Mariota a couple weeks ago. Commanders ran the ball 37 times. He still went over on just 10 pass completions.
Mariota.
Mariota. All right, so I've got to either pick Geno or who's your guy?
Jalen
He's
and
at least 7 and
Saquon.
8 on the year.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sanders and the Browns running backs did it. So I would pick Jalen Hurts and Saquon.
Yeah, I'm going that way. I'm going home with Lawrence.
Emphatic.
Yeah, give me Lawrence. Yes, for
Give
them
me
to combine,
Lawrence.
even though it's
Give
plus
him to
money.
me.
Plus money, Jackson.
Plus
Plus
money
105.
Jackson. Saquon and Hurts. Let's go.
Fantasy managers around the country hoping this man will deliver a championship. He's delivering some good deeds here. Sign in for a kid in the stands wanting Joe Burrow's autograph. Please, I'll do anything. All right, you got to get all A's this semester.
There you go.
Not have gotten Joe Burrow's autograph as a school kid.
Look at that.
Matthew getting straight A's in bar trivia.
We don't play week 18 because we sort of announce a winner. But so even if I go 0-12 today and Lawrence goes 12-0, he is mathematically eliminated. You could, at best, what you're doing is you could get within 7 of me.
Yeah.
This is an ass kicking.
And so next year, if I could do that, next year I could be like, it was close.
Sure.
We got 45 seconds. Do you want me to even do these, or do you just want to gloat for 45 seconds?
No, we might as well do it. You're playing for second. Let's do it quick.
Passing yards, Burrow, Brissett.
Burrow.
Total yards, Gainwell, Jalen Warren.
Gainwell.
Damn.
Gainwell.
Pass attempts, Chuck Ward.
Yeah, I'll say Cam Ward.
Rushing yards, Taylor, Etienne.
Taylor.
JT.
Evans, Waddle, receiving yards.
Evans.
Receptions, Diggs, Henry.
Diggs.
Rushing yards, Uncle Rico, Kenneth Walker.
Walker.
And last one we'll say on the show, Genty or Tyrone Tracy. Total.
Genty.
We'll do the
Tracy.
rest off air. You guys
All
Tracy.
right. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Go get yourself a championship for Lawrence, Jay, and George. I'm Matthew. Peace out.